Hey there, Queen. So, there was a time I had to work with someone who was going out of their way to avoid me throughout the day. So, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can still work with someone who displays a lack of relational intelligence in the workplace and still have a productive day. Because while you can't change them or their behavior, you still can work with them and get things done. So, first things first, things to know about avoidance behavior. If someone is displaying avoidance behavior, typically they will avoid eye contact with you. When you show up, even if they just got there, they will leave, even if they were not ready to leave because you appeared. They will refuse to speak. So you could say hello to them or good morning or how are you or whatever greeting you choose. And they will act as though you've said nothing. If they have to be in a space with you, say you're having a work meeting, you will notice that they will intentionally scan the room and they will be looking for you because they will want to make sure that they sit as far away from you as they possibly can. You will also notice that there will be times that they may talk about you to other people, and you may hear them talking about you to other people, and yet they will not come and voice their concern, their issue with you. But that's because they are not often looking for a resolution or a solution. When you show up to places and spaces, they will also pretend as though they didn't see you, even though you may have walked right by them or could have went and stood right by them. They will act as though you are a ghost. And sometimes you will also notice that as they see you coming up to a place or a space, they may just immediately turn around and go the other way, even though they wanted to take the route that they were on. Because they saw you coming, they decided that, you know what, I'm not going to go that way anymore. So those are just a few things that people do when they have avoidance behavior. It's not an exhaustive list, but from that you get the gist of avoidance behavior. So, how do you manage this and still have a productive day? Because you can't change who they are or the way that they are acting. So, first things first, don't deny the behavior. Identify the behavior. So, what behavior do you see showing up in this person? So, I shared some things already. I'm not going to go back over that, but think through those things, or your situation could be a little different. There could be some other nuances there that you see that this person has and is showing. What are those things that they are doing that signifies that, hey, they are avoiding me? Think that through. Once you know what that is and you can identify the avoidance behavior, then the second thing for you to do is to disengage the behavior. So here, what I am saying when I say disengage the behavior is not add fuel to the fire. So if they are making it a point to avoid you, ignore you, go the other way when they see you, don't in turn start doing the same thing that they are doing. Because if you start acting like them, then nothing is going to get resolved and you won't be able to work with this person, because if you are both avoiding one another, then how can you come together for a common goal that's not even about you? So identify the behavior, disengage the behavior, and then the third thing, which is the final step, is decide what decision you are going to make to stay in peace. What decision are you going to make to stay in peace? Because although this person is acting the way that they are, they don't have the authority and power to control how you show up, your emotions, your mood. So what mood are you going to have when this person shows up and displays this type of behavior? Because if they can shift your mood, if they can shift your energy, then they can control you and how you show up. And you don't want that, because they are already showing up with a lack of relational intelligence. If they are on the job not just personally. It can be personally, but here we're talking professionally. If they are on the job and they know that they have to work with you and they are showing up in such a way that they are trying to avoid you, they're not operating from a space of relational intelligence, because that means that they are not seeking the highest good of you or of themselves. So when people engage in avoidance behavior, there's an underlying root there, but it's not your job to force them to communicate what is going on with them. Because the thing about it is, they could feel a certain way because they have told themselves a story that they believe that's not even true. So it's as though those issues that they have internally with you are being expressed externally through the avoidance behavior. But again, it's not for you to try to force them to speak on it, but you can still work with them and have a productive day. Because remember, when you show up to work, that is what you are there for, to work. Yes, there may be other things taking place, and you may have other friendships there, but the ultimate purpose of work is to accomplish the mission and the vision of that organization. Period. So, identify the behavior. What behavior are they displaying? Secondly, disengage the behavior, meaning don't let yourself get sucked into their energy. And then third, decide what decision are you going to make based off of what they're showing you to stay in peace. Because please recognize that while you may want to address the situation of their avoidance behavior, you cannot force a conversation. And some people can't engage in peaceful conversations because they believe the lies their feelings are telling them about what is real. And so they stay stuck in what and how they feel. As always, I'm Coach Sam, telling you that 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you can change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.